Hi, I'm Pam from Live Action Puppets. I'm going to teach you 2 ways to glue in mouth plates. We'll use the taco method on the top and the rollover on the bottom. I'm going to show you how to put the mouth plates together. I put the mouth plates, I just laid them on the gaffer tape, but the second piece is a little harder to do to make it smooth, so I get a piece of material that's similar to this. That's only about 1/4 of an inch, and then I drape it so that when I put my second piece of tape on, I can put it on with the mouth open, basically, or with the mouth closed. And that way it's kind of smooth on the inside, but it can close fully. And then you can massage the tape in here. Then trim it. And for this one, you can mark the center with a white marking pen. And then you're going to want to do crosshairs, but I can do that in a different color. For placement. Now we'll add the contact cement to the mouth plate. I use Wellwood contact cement, but I'm going to show you a little trick that I do. I usually decant into a smaller container. This one's amber colored to prevent the contact cement from getting thick and viscous. It'll stay thinner in that amber bottle. I use a little syringe. This is a giant syringe. I got it on Amazon. They use them for Jello shots of all things, but it's great for pulling up the cement. Once my bottle's filled, I use a little tray. I call the little tray Toxic Panda. It's really just a place to put down the contact cement so I can dab it with a sponge and apply it to the mouth plates and the foam. I squeeze out just enough that I need for the project at a time because it'll thicken in this tray. To help show where the placement should be, I'm going to mark out the little edge here where the contact cement goes. It's a little less than 1/4 of an inch around there. You could do 1/4 of an inch, but by the time I press down 1/4 of an inch, it's sometimes just a little bit less than that. Do that all around the perimeter on the inside of the mouth, and then mark upper and lower. On this particular puppet, the upper and lower are the same shape, but the upper is going to have it on the back side. So go ahead and trace it on both sides on the upper plate, so you know to put contact cement on both sides of the upper plate and only on the one side on the lower plate, on the smooth side. And then use a sponge to add the cement. You're going to go all along the edge of either your plastic or your neoprene rubber, and then you're also going to work within that little sketched out zone so that you can adhere the foam to it. Now, part of the reason I'm doing a voiceover is the ventilation fan in this box, you probably heard it earlier in the video, is really loud, so it's hard to hear my voice. But just a little backup on like contact cement safety, the fumes aren't good for you. And I used to stink up the shop, and so I actually built a little ventilation system where I use an inline greenhouse fan to pull the air out of this little build area. It pulls the air outside my shop because otherwise it filters through my entire house and the whole house gets stinky. Okay, I put it on the front and back of the upper and only on the front or on the lower. And now I'm going to add it to the head. Use your contact cement on the upper portion on the width of the foam. This is going to be for the taco. The upper lip is the taco method, so that's one method. The lower lip, we're going to use the internal fold over or rollover method. So here I'm sketching out 1/4 of an inch below the edge of the lip on the inside head surface. That way I know to put the glue, not on the width of the foam, but on that little 1/4 inch edge on the inside of the head. So here I am applying it to the edge on both sides. But we also left that chin seam open just so we can have better access to the upper mouth plate insertion. So here I'm adding glue to the width of the foam. That's just below the chin. So that's actually part of the head seam, not the mouth plate seam. Here I'm marking the center seam on the upper lip piece so that now I can align and do this taco. I'm going to align the middle of the mouth plate with the middle of the nose piece, and that mouth plate is going to hit the center of that foam width so that one half of the foam width gets rolled over to the inside of the mouth, and then the other side of the foam width gets rolled over to the back side of the mouth plate, which is why we put a little glue on that side as well. That's just for a little extra adhesion, and it kind of already folded over a little bit. I'm going to give it a little bit of help. So that's the taco method. That method's used partly because this is like a beaky little face. Now I'm going to do the head seam where that chin is, now that we've got the upper mouth plate in. And then we're going to illustrate the rollover or the internal fold over method for the lower mouth plate once that chin seam is done. And we're going to line up the little white dot with the chin seam, this is why we put registration marks on, partly for mouth plate insertion and then later for the when we add the interior fabric, so everything lines up pretty. So here the 1/4 inch of foam gets folded over onto the mouth plate, and that gives us a little lip edge. Once that's done, the only other section of the head that's to be done is kind of an internal hand grip area. And on my particular foam head, I accidentally glued that center back seam shut, and in the directions I made a point of asking you, like to say don't leave that open, and that way you'll have access to put in that those head inserts A and B. I should have let my contact cement tack up more. That's why it's taking me a while to like push that over down and make it adhere properly. Now I'm checking it. Yep, looks good. But now I'm going to show you how to open the seam. I took a heat gun. It erases that erasable pen line, but it also helps open up seams. So that's one reason I use the friction erasable pen, is I can get rid of my lines. Then if I cover my head with a light color fleece, I wouldn't see those black lines through the fleece. So here I'm popping open the head. Once I have that popped open, I'll have better access to the area above the upper mouth plates, which is where those head inserts are going to go. I'm going to kind of layer them, A on top of B. Initially I did it incorrectly, but that A is supposed to go on top of B because it tapers a little bit as it goes up into the head. So glue those two pieces together and then glue them into the head. It's going to land about a 1/2 inch above the upper mouth plate to give you a little space for your fingers to go in, and then those inserts will land on top of your fingers to prevent your hand from slipping upwards. So once you add some glue to the inside of the head and to the edge of the insert, you can tuck those in, and then fuss with the placement until they're right. It took me a while to get it where I like, not only for like fingertip, the right fingertip width, but also look around to the front. And if anything is puckering awkwardly in the front and you don't like it, then shift things around, even cut them down if you need to, till you get that nose to look nice and smooth the way you want it, and also still have a good little grip for your fingers. Once you're happy with it, then that center back seam needs to be reclosed if you've already closed it, or add cement. And if you did properly the way the directions say, then this will be the first time you've actually closed it. So once the center back seam is done, your head is all done. Good for you, you finished the job. If you're interested in this pattern, the Vulpin pattern, where you can learn both these methods, the taco and the rollover, you can buy my pattern at www.liveactionpuppets.com. Or you can go to www.lapuppets.com. They go to the same website, and you can buy this pattern, which has 2 different variations.